Hey guys, happy Wednesday. It is the 30th of July. I hope everyone is blessed. Welcome back to your daily market outlook. Before we do get into the charts, I'm going to say it again because I'll explain what's just happened. But just understand that the content on this channel is for educational and informational purposes only. I'm not a financial advisor, and nothing shared in my video should be considered financial investment or trading advice. Understand that trading and investing always involves risk, and you should always conduct your own research before making any financial decisions. Any past performances discussed does not guarantee future results. You are always responsible for your own financial decisions. Okay, guys, I'm gonna have to make this as short as possible. I've just spent 40 minutes literally doing this exact video, and then realizing that I didn't change my screen from the disclaimer to trading view. So 40 minutes, was obviously a long time. And then when I ended it, I was like, oh my days. So again, I'm going to make this short. I'm not going to go down to lower time frames just because, it's a lot of time, 2 hours almost on, or an hour and a half to 2 hours on the charts. I haven't got time for that. But as you guys know, we had some amazing moves yesterday. We're still in this daily range as we speak from the dollar. So from this lower high to this lower low. We had obviously this reaction down, but when we've come into the deeper part of the dollar, we haven't gone and create that new lower low. We reacted out of this imbalance here, and we've had, one, two, three, four candles which have been extremely bullish. So, from a daily, if we see usually what we expect is we just expect, the range to just carry on. We create a lower high, and then we go and create a new lower low. What we don't usually like to see is the market do this, because when the market usually does this, that means that what could be happening is a change of trend. And obviously, we're still in this range, but we failed to create a new lower low, and now we're getting that bullishness again. So understand that we could potentially see a bullishness happen. What I will be looking for is we've not quite tapped into this 4 hour supply, which I'll talk about now, which is here, this 4 hour supply, but we have filled in pretty much the whole imbalance. So, what could potentially happen is we obviously get a movement away from here, but what we would have to do is we would first have to break this higher low on the 4 and 1 hour here. So if you look at the trend, you can see that the market obviously is in an uptrend, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Now the market's in its demand. So if this happens, we obviously are going to play to that. But if, we see this, then of course we broke this higher low. We can then look to short this down and see how they react inside of these 4 hour demands areas. So again, and then if we do get the shorts, what I'd be waiting for is, of course, these reactions from the demands, but from a daily, I'd be waiting to see how it reacts on this daily demand candle to see if we're going to carry on up from here or carry on down. So hopefully that makes sense. EU, what we're pretty much doing is the same, but vice versa. We're in this daily range as we speak. Now we're tapped into this daily demand. We've taken out this low. So two scenarios is, of course, we see some sort of reaction from here, and we then can look to long this up until this supply, candle, and then we see if we're going to get a reaction to go down, or we're going to not get the reaction and we're going to hold this Euro USD long. So that's one thing I'm looking at. Of course, understand that same scenario, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. This should have been potentially our higher low, failed to break a new higher high. Could this now be creating this new range to just carry on downwards? So something to keep an eye on. If we drop to the 4, we absolutely melted away. We took out all these, all this liquidity that we created here. We took all these highs out, and then we had this shift. So, what I'd be waiting for personally would be, I would just want to see how we're going to react. Of course, first and foremost, from this demand. But as of right now, you can see that we have this supply. If I just go to the 1, it'd be a bit more clearer. You can see that yesterday we caught a beautiful trade where the market come up, reacted from this supply area, which I called out yesterday, and then we broke a new low. So we're in this current range where it's this lower low and this lower low on the 1 hour. We're reacting from this 1 hour supply as we speak. So as of right now, supply is in control. Obviously, what we can see is if we break this low, then you guys might be more confident to look to long, or if we break this high, for instance, you guys can then look to potentially long this. But as of right now, of course, we are shorting from this 1 hour supply because the dollar as we speak is currently bullish from this 1 hour demand area here. So again, if we break above this high, which I'm going to make black, if we break above this supply, then we can be confident that dollar long, EU, GU, so on and so on short. Hopefully that makes sense. GU, a little bit different. Again, GU's has not been as clean as I would like. If you look from the higher time frame, GU has reacted from this level of demand area here. As we speak, this demand area here, of course, we've broken this low here. So this is my daily range from this daily lower high to this daily lower low. As of right now, if we drop to the 4, what can we see? Nothing clear as much. Where we're reacting from is this little trap candle here where these wicks meet. Pretty much that's why we're getting some sort of stallment. I would prefer this 4 hour supply here for me to look for shorts. But if we look at the one, let's just give it this a sec. If we look at the 1 hour, we've not had this. We've got 8 minutes left. This is not going to be clear enough for me to obviously look for longs on a 1 hour, but of course maybe on a 15. If we currently look at where we're at, you can see that the market has gone from that downtrend. Then we obviously now have gone into the uptrend. We've reacted from a 15-minute demand area here, and now we're in this range. So if it was to carry on bullish, what I would expect is the market to pull back into this demand and then carry on upwards. But of course, what we need to understand is, everything depends on what the dollar is doing. And of course, if the dollar is going to be bearish, then we can't expect GBP USD to be bearish as well. So that's something to keep an eye on. AUD USD, we have a perfect reaction from this supply. You can see we have this uptrend into this downtrend. We have a fresh demand area below with some imbalance that we could come and attack. As you can see, this is our range from this higher low to this, lower high to this lower low. If we drop to the 1, be a lot more clearer. You can see that we actually had this area yesterday as our demand, which we reacted from. But the true 1 hour demand area is where the imbalance started. And as you can see, we've come back up, taking out these highs, filling this imbalance, and now we're getting that movement away. If you would have looked at this from the beginning of the demand, around, let's say, a 10 pip stop, it's nearly at 1 to 2.5, which is, pretty clear. If you would have done middle of the box, which I wouldn't have personally, 1 to 4. So yeah, pretty nice on there. What we can expect is if we get a break below this, then we can expect some sort of pullback and try and look to short into this 4 hour demand area. If I just go to the 4, nothing really is clear. 2 hour, nothing as clear as I would like. Yeah, we'll have to just wait and see how that happens. NZUSD, let's see what's going on. We are trapped between supply and demand. Let's just quickly go to the 4 hour. You'll be able to notice that we're in between this supply and this demand. But if you focus on the trend happening right now, you can see that pullback, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So you can see the range that we're currently in is from where these red lines are, this and this. And we're reacting out of a 1 hour supply area, which is here. Let me just make this 1 hour supply, not 4 hour. And that's where we're getting that bearishness from as we speak. Start of the imbalance is here, and this is our supply area. What I will be waiting for personally is we're reacting out of this demand whilst also reacting out of supply. I'm going to wait for this demand area to be broken, this low, and I'll be looking to short this downwards if the dollar is bullish, of course. And then vice versa would be for NZ is if the dollar is bearish, I would wait for this high to be broken here to then look to long this upwards. So that's what I'm looking at. Again, everything revolves around the dollar. USD CAD 4 hour, we called it out again yesterday. Very, very bullish. You can see the trend higher, high, higher, low, high, low, high, low. Yesterday, the 1 hour was this area here. You can see that the market, was it Tuesday? Yeah, it was this area here, which was a beauty. We actually did around a 1 to 4, nearly 1 to 5. Yeah, 1 to 5, of course. But a 1 to 3 would have been around this. So clean, 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 clean. You know, once we broke this high here, what happened again? Same scenario, back into this demand area, and then we broke high again. So we're in this range, which is from this red line to this red line. If you go to the 15, you can see it's a little bit more clearer. I'm actually annoyed that I didn't get into this trade. We have this range, which I just talked about. We have this fresh demand area. And as you guys can see, this is where it would have been a beauty again, which would have been currently sat around a 1 to 2 point something trade idea, which I'm annoyed about, but it is what it is. It didn't activate till 3 a.m. last night, so obviously I was asleep and I didn't notice. Looking at the 1 hour, what we can see is if we, obviously we've got 3 minutes left. If we do get a pullback, I would personally like to see a deeper retracement where this imbalance is and then carry on upwards. That's what I would like to see. But of course, I'm just going to be patient because of the dollar, if I'm honest with you guys. That is going to be my main priority just because we are extremely bullish on this, demand, sorry, on USD CAD, but, it's obviously messing around in regards to USD, the US dollar. So patience is needed, patience is needed. But yeah, pretty clean as we speak. Going into USD CHF, let's have a quick look. USD CHF is, very bullish. We have this range because if you look, higher high, higher low, higher high, mini pullbacks, create higher low, higher high. So we are in this 4 hour range. From this low to this high, we reacted clean yesterday from this demand area. As you can see, we come back, tapped in, and then we obviously went above. So we got a new range, which was from this high to this low, and this is where this demand area is. So as of right now, we're trapped between this 1 hour demand and this 1 hour supply. So as you guys can see, we've moved away, but now we're just in between this supply and this demand. So what I will be waiting for, which you can see is already marked out, is if supply is going to take control, I want to see this low broke. If this 1 hour demand is taking control, I want to see this high broke. So either way, if we get this, I'll then look for a pullback to then long this, and vice versa for shorts. If we get this, break this low, I'll probably look for the shorts in this area as well, depending on the dollar. Clean, easy to understand. USD Japanese yen, I'm not interested in as we speak. We are reacting from this 4 hour supply. We have had this bullishness from away from this demand area. But as we look at the 4 hour, what can we see? If you just focus here, you can see that we had a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. This come down, tapped into this demand, failed to go and create a new high, higher high, and then we've had this break here. So as of right now, we're in between this range. So if we was to short, I'd want to see a short from this 4 hour and 1 hour here. That's what I would want to see. So yeah, let me just drop down to the 1 and see if we can see anything a bit more cleaner. Not really. Obviously, that's where I would look for. Again, I'm not interested in longing as we speak from this just because it doesn't look nice. This 4 hour is already been mitigated. So yeah, I don't know. Let's just wait and see and be patient. But other than that, guys, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry I've had to rush this through. I can't do 2 hours or something. Well, I already pretty much have. But I can't do, an hour, 2 hours on the charts. I've got stuff to do, money to make. So I do apologize. like I said, I did a really in-depth one previously to this, and then realized that I obviously did not share my screen. So I do apologize. But other than that, guys, I appreciate every single person as always. Let's stay connected. If you need to obviously stay connected, just go to my link in the bio on my YouTube, and my YouTube's there. Sorry, my Instagram's there, my Telegram, and everything else in between. Other than that, guys, take care and God bless.